this is actually a very, very common thing that I see in the home care arena. A lot of people will call and they know their mom need help and their parents just refuse to get help. And that's something that's very difficult for someone to understand, but I definitely can relate to it. So last week a lady called me. She says, Sainfer, my mom needs help. She said she fell at home. I took her to the emergency room. She said my dad is becoming forgetful. Just this morning he left the stove off, and she just went on and on and on. And she says, I'm getting so frustrated. She needs the help and she doesn't want to take it. So she called me, I went and we sat with her, and I kind of explained to her, we had a good conversation. I met with her first, and I said to her, a lot of times the elderly, they're not so willing to accept help because in their mind, accepting help meaning they're losing their independence. And so I talked to her about some of the strategies that we use, which I'm going to share with you. So when the situation happened, first we want to meet with the client, the family member, to get a better insight of what's going on. Then we meet with the client, who would be the elderly patient, and so we will talk with the patient, and I want to point out the positives. So what I do, for example, if I'm talking to an elderly patient and I say, you forget to pay the bills, or her daughter told me that she forgot to pay the bills, I'll say, and she said to me, well, I'm not getting old. I'll say, okay, we know you're not getting old, but Miss Jen, you forget to pay the bills here, so we could help you with that. So you want to focus on the positives of what they're doing. Another strategy we use, you want to give them options. So say you want to go in their home. You want to hear the client tell you when is a good time to go in. What's best, what works for them, and you work with them on the plan of care. And then lastly, you want to introduce changes slowly. You cannot go and just disrupt their entire environment. The elderly have a right to what they want to do. We cannot force them. So a good education, introduce options, and start with small changes and celebrate all the positives. That's a good approach to take. And usually they will come around and accept home care services.